the hell did you think you were doing?
You got a real gratitude problem, you know that, Bruce? I need a name. Batboy, Nightwing. I don't know, what do you think? What's a good sidekick name?
How about Dick Grayson, college student?
Screw you. I just saved your life. You owe me.
You are totally out of control. You're gonna get yourself killed.
You're looking at your new partner.
No.
Bruce, whenever you go out tonight, I'll be watching. And wherever Batman goes, I'm gonna be right beside him.
Hi, this is Michael Uslan. You're listening to Batman on Film.
Talking about the tales where the shadows crawl. Chapter by chapter, we've covered it all. From the capes and cowls to the darkest night. Every film, every fight, a fan's delight. Turn the page, Gotham's glory awaits. Batman on film, where legends create. Oh, we ride through the Gotham skies. From the bat's rise to the villain's eyes. Turn the reels, where the story is bright. I'm Batman on film, the legends alive. Break down the madness, scene by scene, where the city's pulse and dark dreams convene. From the old to the new, the saga unfolds. A vigilante sail in the echoing cold. Step into Gotham where justice earns. Through words and whispers, the bat returns. Oh, we ride through the Gotham skies. From the bat's rise to the villain's eyes. Turn the reels where the story is bright. I'm Batman on film, the legend's alive. In the shadow of the night, tales untold. Pages turn as a saga unfolds. Join the journey in this timeless quest. Batman on film stands above the rest. Oh, we ride through the Gotham skies. From the bat's rise to the villain's eyes. Turn the reels where the story is bright. I'm Batman on film, the legend's alive.
Welcome to Batman on Film, chapter by chapter of Batman on Film podcast, batman-on-film.com. This is Batman Forever, chapter by chapter, and we're talking chapter 11, What's a Good Sidekick Name? And joining me is, returning is Javi Trujillo. Javi, this is, I'm going to get it right because I get mixed up. Your fourth appearance. 4. Okay, this is 4. You're running out of time, my friend.
I know.
No. Yeah, well, we're getting down to the nitty gritty. I was just telling them we got about 45 minutes left after this chapter of the movie, so should be able to knock it out pretty quick.
And then we're going to have to begin on another series.
Yes, Batman Begins. Micah Ramey joins as well. Batman Begins is next.
You can't skip over the greatest Batman movie.
We're going to get to it. That's actually scheduled. Yeah, we're going to do them all. The reason why Batman Forever is 30 and Batman Begins is 20.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, gotta push the anniversaries.
Micah Ramey, everyone. I am merely Bill Ramey, the founder of Batman on Film. And here we are, Chapter 11. What's a Good Sidekick Name? A lot going on here. In this chapter, but I start because Micah has not been on the show, and so here's the thing, Micah. When someone's new to chapter by chapter, I ask them to tell us their story about the film. So, what's your Batman Forever story?
Batman Forever is my favorite of the original 4. I think everyone divides the movies into chapters, I guess, or moments in Batman history. So the first two, are the Burton films, and you had the other two, they're the Schumacher. I kind of put all those four together as the older original Batman movies. And out of those four, Forever was my favorite. But I mean, obviously, as you know, I grew up watching Forever, and especially Batman and Robin, all the time on VHS. I mean, I grew up with these movies. There was a long break before we got to Batman Begins. So these were the last two, the most recent at that time. And I was born in 97. So from a very young age, I was baptized in this movie. So I've just had an attachment to it. It was one of the earliest movies I remember watching. I love this movie for what it is. It's so unapologetically 90s and also very comic booky. I love Batman Forever. It'll forever be one of my favorites for sure. I can always just put it on and watch it and enjoy it.
Yeah, that's the movie all three of you Ramey kids watched as kids. I mean, Batman Forever was the go-to movie, and Batman and Robin in some instances, but we'll get there. We'll get to Batman and Robin. All right. So we are well past the halfway mark, Javi, with this movie. We are picking up, let's see. Where do we leave off, Javi? What was the last
Master
scene?
Dick took
yes,
car.
Yes.
Specifically,
he went traveling.
The other car.
Yes, he went traveling. So
yeah.
So we get a shot of let's see. Okay, so that all works out. Batman comes and says that Pete. That's where we left off because there's one hasn't dropped yet. So
okay.
I got okay. Yeah.
So you and Boudin Pockets talked about
Boudin
the dragon fight.
Yes, we went through that, which I thought has one of the best Batman scenes in any Batman movie is when he drops down and Dick Grayson starts pounding on him and blames him for his parents' death. And he says, if Bruce Wayne could have given his life to save your family, he would. So, yes. So probably by the time you're hearing this, you've listened to that. So that's just where we're at. We haven't dropped that one yet. All right. So this one starts off with the gala at the Ritz Gotham. And that's Bruce Wayne.
Did you guys talk about the Batcave scene where he says, I'm a part of this whether you like it or not?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I had no way to cut that out, of that scene. It's kind of part of it because I just got back. So they're at the gala at the Ritz Gotham. And this is a gala for Enigma and is it still the box?
Yeah, I think it's
He's
still
selling
the box. And then Enigma Tech is the company. But it's still called the box.
He's got that big contraption right now that's almost like when you go to where a bunch of computers are set up in those huge rooms. There's all this stuff, and then there's like this green vial of something that stores. It's kind of like a floppy disk, but it's not a floppy disk. It's whatever. It stores data. So they're at the Ritz Gotham. They're at this thing for Enigma Tech, and we have Edward Nygma, who's now dressed just like Bruce Wayne again. Same tuxedo, and he's even changed his glasses. He's got the Bruce Wayne glasses on. And there's just an exchange. Nygma is with Drew Barrymore's Sugar as his date, which is one of Two-Face's girl sidekicks. And so there's this whole exchange between Bruce Wayne gets there and Gossip Gertie is like, oh, Bruce Wayne, and there's an exchange between Bruce Wayne and Enigma. So what y'all think about this whole setup for this scene with all this going on?
I'm curious what Micah thinks of Gossip Gertie, since he came in at a different entrance point than I would have, because I would have been What did
You
we
know that
decide
was
last time?
you knew
18
his
years old.
yeah, you
It's
knew who
Bob Kane's wife.
yeah,
So, but
yeah.
and I know Haas talked about her too. I've never been a fan. And, and while I definitely can appreciate this movie more than I did, say, 10 years ago and find like the good in it, I still can't get behind Gossip Gertie. She just, her delivery, everything about it just irritates me so much. I'm curious, Micah, if you feel the same way about her or if you like her character.
I feel the same way about her, but I like it. I kind of like that she is annoying
Okay.
and over the top. I mean, it kind of fits the whole theme of the movie is over the top. Every character is just really that character. I mean, you look at Two-Face, everything he has is
Yeah.
two. Like he's drinking out of two cups in this scene. It's awesome. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say she's a character I particularly enjoy, but it's humorous to me how obnoxious she is.
It
She
is
only gets worse from here.
yes, but there's a dynamic between. I mean, she's given Edward Nygma lots of attention, but as soon as Bruce Wayne walks in, it just all the attention goes to him, which upsets Nygma. Because he's got that fascination, this obsession with Bruce Wayne, and you have almost named this episode "How's My Mole" just because of that.
Oh yes,
he's got that fake mole, just like Val Kilmer. How's my mole? She was fine, And so Bruce Wayne congratulates Edward Nygma and does remind him he goes nice suit because it's the exact same suit that he has on. And he talks there. They have this exchange, and because Edward Nygma he gives a demo of the box to the crowd, and Bruce Wayne says fully interactive holograms, extracting images out of the mind. What keeps you from if you can project images in someone's mind, what keeps you from extracting them out? So that again, was it you and I, Javi? We talked about it. It's kind of remind that of the episode,
The Strange Secret of Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
Our last Batman animation episode. Yeah.
Bruce Wayne is clearly he is interested in what Nygma has got going on. There's more to it than just he figures. I'm sure he's Batman. Come on, than it's just this device, this box device for home entertainment, and so that's the first time we get the whole. He sets up what's about to happen here shortly with Bruce Wayne starts doing some detective work, finds his way, back to where where the big computer was, and starts, he's nosing around, and then there's Sugar shows up, and you lost, and he's like, no, I'm just looking, and she gives him that little vial, and ends up. It's what starts the process on him, right? She kind of tricks him.
Yeah.
He's kind of like, yeah. So thoughts on this whole thing, going behind the scenes, the Nygma Bruce Wayne interaction, the whole thing, Micah?
I really like the interaction between these two. I mean, I think the main element of the movie, people forget it is kind of a comedy I think that's why they added Jim Carrey to the movie, but it just shows his complete obsession with Bruce Wayne. Even in his success, it's still not enough. He's still craving the attention of Bruce by matching his suit, matching his hair, same fake mole, that comment to Drew Barrymore is hysterical. And how he hires her to be with him. He wants to be Bruce Wayne. He has his tech company, like everything he's trying to do is just to seek the approval of Bruce, which he completely dodges his question when Edward asks him. Yeah. So he gets tricked by Drew Barrymore and he gets into the machine. That seemed like a chance maybe to let that scene play out a little bit more. I know that happens later on in the movie, but that maybe would have been nice to get a little bit more of diving into Bruce's psyche there. I know there's a lot of elements of the movie that were taken out. Maybe, you think Riddler and Two-Face would have corresponded a little more and maybe delayed his entrance into the gala by 5 minutes, and then that would have turned out different.
Well, Javi, I mean, he does say, you're ruining my party.
Yeah.
And Two-Face replies, I'm tired of waiting. The bat's not dead. Blah blah.
I feel
blah.
like off camera there would have been a scene of Two-Face back at his lair getting impatient and flipping his coin until it showed up, on the evil side, and then he grabs Spice and it's like, let's go crash a party or something. Like, I feel like, that could have been a scene that easily would have happened if, they had decided to film something like that.
Can't remember if there is something that sets that up in the novelization, which that would have came from the original script. But yeah, that would make sense if he was, now, but they're cutting this film because they're keeping it. It's like
Yeah.
they're running towards the camera with the bat signal behind them at like 1 hour and 57 minutes exactly.
Yeah.
It's right under 2 hours. So
Back when movies used to be a tight 2 hours.
yeah, this is why some of these scenes they kind of got some things going on that aren't related, but for the most part, this one is. So is that the first time that we get the idea that the box can record people's images?
Yeah.
Their thought.
Yeah.
So it sets up that deal. It's going to be the next storyline.
Because before it was
forward.
just making him smarter, but now we're getting that it can go into someone's mind. And I think he says later, like, I taught my doggy a new trick.
Yeah.
So he hasn't even told Two-Face really about it yet. And, it's like we're at the halfway point of the movie, just a little bit past it. But like, this is such a key, pivotal scene. And, there's stuff that got cut out later, but like, this sets everything up it puts the Bruce and Edward dynamic, it twists it on its head, and it not only gives them their plot reasons for going to the manor and finding out who Batman is, but it gives Bruce more of that unlocked red diary and, whether or not he wants to be Batman forever. Like, it's a really key scene. It's too bad that it loses some of its impact because of those, cuts to make it under a certain time.
Well, Two-Face and his gang break in, as we mentioned briefly just a second ago, and he does say, he announces to the crowd, this is just your general old-fashioned stick-up, cash jewelry, cellular telephones will do, and he's got his Two-Face gang with him. What'd you think? Did you like the Two-Face gang, Micah, with the mask and red and black
them.
and the slit?
I love everything about them. It's like out of G.I. Joe or something. It's so. That's why I love the movie. It's just not afraid to be exactly what it is. Like, look at these goons. These are Two-Face goons. There's no mistaking it at all. I love the look of them, but I mean, I love Batman's introduction to the scene is awesome. I mean, he runs down escapes out of a back door, out of the gala. He slides down the ladder, runs and sees Alfred, changes into the suit. And then I don't know how he gets back up. Maybe he takes the same ladder back up, but when he crashes down into the gala, what a beautiful scene. And the action there I think the action in these movies is in my opinion, a step up from the Burton ones. It's a very 90s, but the way Batman dismantles Two-Face villains, and obviously they're just goons to be taken down. I thought it was very fun. What did y'all think about Batman's introduction into the scene?
Javi, I was going to ask you as well with that same thing. It's like the Two-Face stuff, the Two-Face and his gang stuff is like it's in the periphery. It's, in the background. And the main exchanges are like Edward Nigma and Two-Face. And then Bruce Wayne, as Micah said, he snaps out of whatever trance he was in because of all the commotion and is able to escape. So, and then of course he comes crashing in. We have to have the drop down scene. So
it's almost like the plot demanded, okay, we're halfway through, let's have another action scene.
Yeah.
And it's not that it's out of place, but that's kind of what its purpose is, because we have these little things sprinkled throughout of Batman fighting Two-Face, which, I appreciate that we actually get to see some of that. And I have to wonder if, this is 6 years after Batman, that for lack of a better term, the technology making the suit allowed him to
Yeah,
be more mobile. So they
that's what
were
I was
able
going
to
to say.
pull off some of these action stunts compared to what they had before.
Yeah.
But I love the parallel of Bruce and Dick. Like they both come running out of the gala at
Yes.
separate times, but exactly the same emergency, Alfred.
Yes.
And so he's got to do it, twice. And and for me, like I think this is like one of the maybe the highlight of the movie is this entrance that Micah was talking about. 'Cause for me, that was like one of the key parts of the trailer. It was in all the advertising. Um, and it's a great spectacle. Like as cool as it was when he fought the Dayglow gang or whatever they're called,
Yeah.
and how he kind of slowly descended. Like this, there's a lot more kinetic energy as he crashes through. It's very reminiscent of Keaton's entrance in '89. So I can see them wanting to do like their version of it and put their stamp on it. Um, but just that guy that's next to Kidman as Batman comes through and he's like, Batman, ah,
Yeah,
like
I was going to bring that up.
it's such a meme that
It
when we
is.
saw the IMAX fan screening back in 2022, they were doing like this trivia thing, like it was part of the pre-show and they're asking questions, and at the end it was like the Batman in IMAX and it had like a counter, and when it got down to zero, someone in our audience said Batman, ah, and everyone laughed before the Batman started. And
Did
that
yeah.
was like a 20-year-old joke at that point, and it's just so ingrained in fans' memories.
Does that guy? He's not the security guard, is he?
I kind of wondered because he feels very
I've
similar.
always wondered if it's the security guard from the vault scene because it the voice is annoyingly similar, and then they have the glasses. I don't know, but that's just I was going to bring that up. And yeah, you can tell the suit is it's a lighter suit. It's not.
Yeah.
They got better as they went, through the Dark Knight trilogy and even to what Robert Pattinson wore, but it's much more gives more freedom than the one that Michael Keaton had, especially in Batman '89. So now we've got this. We got Dick Grayson leaving. He heads the limo. They both, emergency Alfred. Alfred tells Dick, "This could get me fired. Maybe they'll have me back at Buckingham Palace," which insert joke there. And essentially, we've got Batman taking on Two-Face's gang, and Two-Face decides to, what does he say? Phase two. Phase two, boys. He has to say phase two, right, Javi? Um,
Yes.
Exactly.
and he takes off. Batman continues to fight the Two-Face goons. We got Dick Grayson doing his thing. And we got that scene with Nigma telling Harvey before he says phase two and leaves is your interest was good, his was better. It was why showmanship. That was on a lot of the trailers too. Remember, Hobby
Yeah.
was his interest was good, or your interest was good, his was better. And so we take off. Then you've got Chase telling Batman to meet right through all of this, grabs him, my place midnight. And so right in the middle of it, we got to have this. Javi, what's your thoughts on this whole thing going on right now? We're about to get to the big dramatic scene, which I end up thinking that this next part is one of a great Batman scene. But all of this going on at the party, and then Batman and then Chase putting the moves on Batman once again.
Let's see, the movie really does move at such a quick pace, and I think that's really prevalent in this scene because we have all that stuff going on with the plot and then the action scene, and for her to help move things forward by giving Batman that kiss, and it kind of distracts him in a way, which, I wonder if that plays a part into him, Two-Face getting the drop on him in the next little bit, because he's got so many different things going on. He just, had his mind probed, and I feel like it kind of uh not lessens him, but it definitely takes him down a notch from like his peak abilities. But I just like the general chaos of everything, and you feel like the frenetic energy that's coming off of it. And it's a really well directed scene. I wanted to ask Micah, um, because I'm someone that it's taken me a while to appreciate the Elliot Goldenthal score. And so I always, for a long time, I felt really disappointed to not have that Elfman music in that scene because it's so good in the trailer. Um, how did you feel about the music
I
in this
love them.
part?
I
Yeah.
mean, sticking with my theme of loving the movie, I love the themes. But I mean, seriously, as a kid, I mean, I watched these first. I mean, I saw these before, at least as I can remember. I watched these before the original Burton and Danny Elfman movies. So these are in my
So that
mind.
wasn't even a thing for you
Yeah, it
then.
wasn't even a thing. So they kind of this sounds like Batman to me when I hear it. And obviously, like now as an adult, hearing the Elfman theme, iconic, makes me think of Batman. It is Batman. But I mean, I love the score. I really do. It's definitely. I think it was a smart choice to go with a different composer for these other two movies because not only movies thematically are different, but I think changing a score really sells that these are different movies. We're going with a different tone. They're different. There's something else. Um, I
It's a
will
soft
say,
reboot.
yeah, it is. I will say in comment to Batman somehow being strong enough to say no to Nicole Kidman. I would have taken her back right there. I would have left Two Face. Go ahead and do your thing. It'll be okay. I would have went in her place right there. I'll say that he's much stronger than I.
It's this next part I really like. So we're basically outside of the party now. Batman is out. He's going after Two-Face and his goons, and essentially he is Batman essentially is up on like a scaffolding area. And first Two-Face shoots him some kind of projectile with he opened up the gas, he hits his projectile that creates an explosion. He starts dancing. Now, it's if Tommy Lee Jones had just dialed it down just a little bit with the cackling, I wouldn't be. I'm not annoyed, but it's just as we talked about, it gets his over the topness gets a little bit more and more as we progress through the movie. But he's still trying to kill Batman. This time he thinks he's got him. I think he dances a jig, and then which I think is a great Batman shot, is Val Kilmer, Batman, coming out of that fire and just standing there. He's kind of breathing hard. And, it's like, why don't you just die? Why can't you just die?
It had to be hot
Yeah.
filming that scene.
Oh, I imagine.
Yeah. So how do y'all like this little exchange, the whole thing, the look, the aesthetics of it, the way it's framed? I think it's a good it's one of the great Batman shots of any Batman movie, him coming out of that fire.
It absolutely is. It's when I think about Batman Forever, I think about this scene. It's one of my shot wise, it's my favorite shot of the movie. Him running out of the fire. You can see all the sweat on his face. He looks exhausted, but obviously he's Batman and he survives. I will have to go back to a second and ask you guys a question about when rewatching this, when Batman jumps off the gala and he's gliding or falling down. I mean, it's CGI wise or whatever technology they had at the time. Even today, it still looks relatively good. It doesn't look horrible. At the time when this came out, I mean, was this groundbreaking? Did everyone think that was very impressive?
Hey y'all, it's Bill Ramey, founder of Batman on Film. Let's take a quick pause in this podcast for these words from our sponsor.
I did. I don't think I noticed the CGI-ness of it as much as I do now.
Yeah.
And I think part of that has to do with the fact that our technology for viewing movies at home is so much better. Certainly on the VHS, with the resolution, like the line is blurred of what's real and what's fake, and the CGI gets an easier pass because of it. But even, in newly remastered 4K on a big TV, like it's still, you can tell like, okay, yeah, that's digital, but it still holds up really well, a lot better than like movies that came out 5, 10 years later.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Whoever did the effects on this did a phenomenal job, and for me it holds up really, really well. But I don't think I necessarily thought of it as groundbreaking in 95 because I didn't notice it as much.
They
It wasn't
didn't.
like it
Yeah.
wasn't Terminator 2 where you had the morphine effect for the first time and everyone lost their minds because we'd never seen anything like that before.
That's true.
They didn't make a big deal when they talked about the movie of like talking about uh, the computer generated effects really at all. And so I don't even remember even. I know sometimes I probably thought watching it like there's sometimes with Batman you could tell it was computer generated, but it still looks good. It never. I've never thought even today, even back then. Back then it was that was a different time. Dude. You would just think
Yeah.
that was awesome that you could create something that looked like that. Because just look at '89 a few years earlier. Batman's shadow is old school painted
Animated.
animation.
Yeah.
Back on the rooftop, and so now they're doing this. So no, I don't think it was. I mean, this was back when, like Javi mentioned Terminator 2, and then like Jurassic Park and stuff like that, where it was just beginning to really say, how much stuff was CGI as opposed to live action. So it didn't ever bother me, and like I never recall it being a big deal. So you don't watch it
Nothing.
today, Micah. I mean, it doesn't look. You don't look at it and go, that's fake or that's comic.
No, that's why I brought it up.
Yeah.
I'm like, this doesn't look bad at all. I mean, another question would be like, did people, and like no one really had an issue with that, right?
No,
As Batman
no.
fans.
No,
No, it's something
no,
that obviously isn't,
I have to.
you know,
This is
film
where I
industry.
can. Yeah,
Nothing in this movie stood out to me like the sky surfing scene from the opening of Batman and Robin, where I was like, oh, that's weird looking.
Yeah, that's egregious.
it's
there was nothing on
yeah.
that level in this movie for me.
Okay. Yeah.
This is where I come in, and I usually do my public service announcement on each episode and say, Batman Forever was a huge hit in 1995. There was a bit of Batmania, a kind of a small version of Batmania surrounding it. It was not a flop because
Was the highest grossing movie of the year.
yes, Micah, if you can tell that if you look at like stuff online, there's Batman Forever has got lopped in with Batman and
Yes, it
Robin to where there's a narrative that they were both flops, and that's not true. Batman Forever was huge. It was huge. I'm saying it again. You had Turn on MTV, you had Seal, you had U2, you had all the music videos. It was a big deal. People loved Batman Forever. It was a hit. No one was complaining about it back in 1995. So that is that.
On
All right.
on the
Yeah.
Two-Face attack, talking about like the shot angle and how good
Yeah.
Batman looks. I think there's a reason why fans like still clamor for like the Panther suit. Like there's a Prime One statue that a lot of people love the look of. I've seen a lot of people request like Hot Toys to make the Panther suit. It'd be really nice if McFarlane squeaked that out before he loses the license next year. It's just a great looking costume, and there's so many opportunities in this movie that show it off and show it in action, and that scene is one of them. Like Micah said, like that Dutch angle looks just phenomenal. Like you really feel, the power of Batman in this movie, and the silhouette is great. And you may not like the color palette and all the bright neons, but like Schumacher's shot composition in this movie is top notch.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the Panther Panther suit. The Panther suit. It may be my favorite of those first 4 movies. Even Batman 89. I really like the Panther suit quite a bit. Those 2 for sure. 89 and the Panther suit I like. So there's not many bat suits I really weren't fond of anyway. So Batman is on this scaffolding. Of course, he's not on fire. He doesn't burn up. And there's also that him putting the cape over him and clicking the button on on the utility belt that kind of gives it hardens it, I guess, gives it a shield or of some sort. It's like the tiles on the
some kind of weird thermal shield
space shuttle. Yeah, So and so he's alive. Two-Face does his dance, and then he sees him. Why can't you just die? Shoots at him again. This time the scaffolding all breaks down wherever they were building there. He falls, and it's into this tube of some sort that puts him down below them to where he can't escape, almost like a death trap. Would you call it a death trap, Javi? Seeing a death trap on this one? Yeah.
I feel it's very death
and then
trap.
all the gravel fills in on him, and you think he's a goner. And I'll let y'all go. What happens next? Talk about it, Micah.
So the shoot is. I think I'm right about this. The shoot, they make the shoot when he dives in originally, right? And then
yes. Then my bad.
Okay, just so I understand, I didn't want to. Okay.
Yeah.
And then he runs out, and the badass shot. Why can't you just die? Shoots him with I'm assuming it's a grenade launcher or something. Batman falls down. And this whole time I'm kind of wondering, like, where's Dick Grayson? Where's Robin? He put on the suit, where's he been? And he finally shows up there to save Batman, which I think is, you see it in a lot of movies. It's a very common shot of, the hand coming up and another hand grabbing it. And he's showing off his acrobatic skills, his suit with his legs extended, pulling him out. I think it gives Robin his first purpose to, and one of the first purposes in the movie, and help Bruce and actually save him and kind of justify to him that, hey, I can be a partner. Hey, I can help you if you just let me. But even still, Bruce cannot let this happen, and he wants something bad to happen to him. I also think it's a little bit of his ego getting in there where he can do this himself. He doesn't really need help.
Yeah.
But Javi, what did you think about Nightwing descending down and saving Batman?
It's a nice callback to the circus scene where we saw the flying Graysons do their act, and they put that emphasis on the hands catching each other.
Yes.
It's a great continuation of that. And then from like a comic fan perspective, like we're 5 years removed from A Lonely Place of Dying, which saw Two-Face blow up a building and trap Nightwing and Batman in underneath all this rubble and dirt. And when Tim Drake shows up in the original Robin costume, like he gives him a hand and pulls him out. So it felt like we were seeing a live action version of this comic brought to life. And granted, it was Dick, not Tim, but I mean, it was the same suit, and it was cool to see that a version of that classic Robin suit just once, before we get the evolution that we see at the end of the film. I love this thing because it plays on so many different levels. Not only did it look great, like we've talked about, but there was an extra meaning behind it. And as a fan, it's always cool to see these moments come to life. And it doesn't have to be verbatim. It doesn't have to be like Sin City where it's line for line. There's something to taking those moments and then having it adapted for the story that they're telling. Like in The Dark Knight Rises when Batman fights Bane.
You get to experience it again, kind of.
In a different way, yeah.
Yeah.
It's okay. Yeah. This scene moves so quickly. Yeah. The tube is first, then the explosion, then the cool Batman scene, then we blow up the scaffolding, then he's getting buried with all the gravel and sand and whatnot. And then Dick Grayson Robin shows up. Did you find that Chris O'Donnell kind of in that scene while he's hanging there and Batman sees him, he's kind of like, yeah, MFer, it's me saving your ass. He's got this kind of smirk on his face as he's doing that. Like, yeah.
Batman almost looks disappointed. that he's
He
there.
could, yeah, could have been, or I mean, he would have been buried. He wouldn't be able to breathe. I don't, of course he's Batman. Could have got out of it, I suppose, but you had to have something that showed why that Dick Grayson could, he's not Robin yet, as could be a partner to him, to be a help to him.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
I always liked how they did that and how Chris O'Donnell played this scene with the smirk. Did you think he was smirk, Javi, or was it just?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
his Robin too is a lot more cocky than you would have originally thought. Like, because I read like reprints of a lot of the older Golden Age Batman stuff, and compared to today, the characterization is so different. Like, there really wasn't any. So when you get something like Legends of the Dark Knight 100, where Denny O'Neil goes back and retells the origin, or like right now, Batman and Robin Year One by Mark Waid, like it's a chance for like more characterization to be brought to Dick Grayson and make him more of a real character. And I think this is, one of those instances where we get to see that the way O'Donnell interprets, Dick Grayson. It's not the cookie cutter, holy this, holy repetition Batman, just there to be exuberant. Like he has a character arc and a journey that he's going on, and different sides to his personality. And I've come to really appreciate that about this movie, how they do bring these different layers to the character. If you just do like what we're doing, just take a moment to analyze and go a little bit below the surface.
it's I got to remind or ask you all, like in the beginning with Dick Grayson, it's like he didn't even want to be going to the gala.
Yeah,
He's
he
still in
didn't.
the limo with Alfred essentially, and Bruce Wayne is calling him to come in. He's kind of like rolling his eyes and just like
He's a
shaking his
circus
head.
kid. Like this
Yeah,
is not his lifestyle
yeah,
whatsoever.
for sure. All right, so Batman gets saved by Dick Grayson, and what do we call that? That's the flying Grayson suit. It's kind of the prototype Robin suit that Alfred ends up making for him. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself here, but we're back to the Batcave. Alfred's attending to Bruce Wayne, and Bruce just says, what the hell did you think you were doing? Well, he's basically saving his ass because he wouldn't have been asking him that question if he hadn't been there. And Dick Grayson's he's not hearing any of it anymore. He's just whatever.
Yeah.
You're
Put my suit next to the bat
yeah.
suit, Alfred.
He's just
Yeah.
like whatever. Of course he does say, what's a good sidekick name? Bat Boy, Nightwing, which we get the title to this
man.
for. And he's just like, this is happening. And he even tells him when Batman goes out at night, I'm gonna be there right there with him, whether you like it or not. That's Javi says, put this
line,
next to the bat suit where it belongs. And he takes off, and it's different from the last time they had their confrontation in the Batcave not long ago, where he was like, I'm gonna find Two-Face, I'm gonna kill him, you're gonna help me do it. And he tells him, no, it's really, here's why, here's what happened. You make a kill, and then it's never going to go away. But this time he's like, yeah, I'm done. It's done. I'm going to help you. So did y'all like the Batcave scene? What'd you think about the Batcave scene? Javi, go ahead.
He's coming off such an adrenaline rush and starting to see that there's more to, what he's doing. And I was working at the movie theater this year when it came out, and I remember like we'd have to go in and do checks and make sure that everything's playing correctly. And I remember walking in, my friend told me, we've got the Batman Forever trailer, it's attached to this print, do you want to go watch it right now? I was like, yeah, I want to watch it, because again, 95, you couldn't just go to YouTube and watch a trailer.
No, it's a different day. I mean,
it wasn't a thing. There was no YouTube. So, to watch that trailer, to hear that familiar Keaton music, and to get these iconic shots and lines, and to hear him say in the trailer to reference Nightwing, like that blew my mind that they were maybe going to go there someday, and to get
hell, they went
like
there
that.
the next movie, basically.
I mean, pretty much. Like he's in a Nightwing suit. I mean, he's in a red version of the Nightwing suit, which wound up being the New 52 Nightwing
Yeah.
costume, just minus the cape. So it was really cool to see, more recent comic book stuff like being adapted. And so I love that exchange, and that's how the trailer ends. I'm a part of this whether you like it or not. It's not just to Bruce, but it's to the audience, to any people who didn't want a Robin in the movie because they tried before and it didn't work out for whatever reason. But now he was
Twice.
here, and it's a very meta line.
Micah, do you think Bruce is in the Batcave scene, even though he says, how about Dick Grayson, college student? Do you think he's getting resigned to the fact that even Batman doesn't have a choice now with Dick's insistence on being his partner?
I think he obviously knows where this is going. I think he's trying to slow it down or even still prevent it from happening. And he said in a scene, I think the scene before the beginning of this chapter when they were talking, that he said to Robin that he and him were a lot alike. I believe he said that. So
yes,
he knows it's coming. He knows what's coming. He's trying to prevent it. And he's wrong on all accounts. Every time he talks to Dick in this scene, he's wrong. And especially with Alfred, which in this scene, I think it's one of the highlights of Alfred. And he delivers one of the greatest lines Alfred has ever given. Whenever Bruce is upset with him, he says, you're encouraging him. You're the one that's, pushing him to go out and into these dangerous situations. And he says, young men with a mind with revenge need little encouragement. They need guidance, which is now Alfred kind of that small domino piece of, getting Bruce to understand that this is something he can't stop. Why not just take him under his literal wing? And, they are very similar. They both lost their parents. I think it's designed to be that way. There's a reason why Batman and Robin, mesh together so well, is that they are similar and they have similar tragic backstories and they bond over that. And this scene is kind of, obviously it's conflict, but it is the beginning of their partnership, I would say.
Alfred also says, you above all should know the consequences of the life you choose.
Yeah. Is Alfred not awesome in these movies? He's so good.
And then that's just pretty much the end of this part of this scene, because then it goes from this Batman Dick Grayson confrontation, Alfred chiming in, as we just mentioned, to Batman spinning around in the bat cave, looking at the bat computer, and this Chase Meridian video playing with her flipping her hair and all this stuff. So it completely goes. It goes
it's like a L'Oreal commercial.
It does a 180. So we're not going to go any further as far as discussing what's next. That'll be the next chapter. Batman going to Chase's apartment at midnight, as she asked him to do at the party. But Javi, do you take this as the introduction of Robin in Batman Forever, even though he's not in the main suit that's he ends up in during the finale? Because, and we don't mention Robin, he says Bat Boy, Nightwing, and he said sidekick name. It's pretty much the introduction, right?
Yeah, he's even wearing the domino mask that I guess Alfred gave to him.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say this is the introduction of Robin, or Proto Robin.
Proto Robin. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Michael, where do you rank this as far as the movie as a scene? Where does it rank as one of your, if you had to rank the scene?
I think it's certainly
one or one of the top.
I wouldn't say it's my top one, but it's certainly up there. It's a pivotal scene in the movie. It's showing the character growth of not only Robin but Bruce Wayne as well, and it's the beginning of Robin, but it's the origins of their partnership, and it's showing that Robin can be a reliable and contributive ally to Batman, that he can and does need some help, and it's whether or not he's going to accept that and nourish it and grow it, which that happens later on in the movie. But it's a great scene. A lot in the 10-minute. It's only 10 minutes, right, that we're talking about. That's a lot that goes on. And Javi talked about the pacing of the movie, which is why I think as a kid I liked it so much, is that there's no stopping. It's just go, go, go. Action scene here, some story building, but it's always moving constantly. There's so much that happens within the confines of Batman Forever, and there's so many scenes to choose from that you could rank, one to last if you wanted to, but I mean, so many are so good, and obviously this is one of those. Within 10 minutes, so many things happen, and this last scene here is so pivotal in the movie. It's exceptional, in my opinion.
Well, we're moving toward the end here, the end of the movie, end of the podcast as well. So the next part, right? I would say, Javi, the next throughout the movie it's kind of head to that confrontation between Batman and Two-Face and Riddler, the Batcave, and breaking in and all that, but we'll save that for another podcast. All right. Javi, any final words on what's a good sidekick's name?
It's interesting to me that, we've been breaking this down, and if you want to compare it to like Batman Returns, so much time is spent on the villains and building them up and giving them arcs. And while Two-Face is fully formed, the Riddler, we get his origin, but it's not the main drive of the movie. Like, we're dealing so much with what's going on with Bruce, what's going on with Dick, how what's going on with Dick is impacting Bruce. Like, there's so much focus on Batman in this movie that after the last film, like it's really refreshing to think about it. And I feel like for me personally, like I've been going through a renaissance with this movie over the last couple of years and appreciate it again. And doing these podcasts, like it's just making me love this movie even more than maybe I ever have. Because now that we have all these different interpretations and this isn't the be all end all of Batman on film, like I can find these things and appreciate it and maybe look at it with fresh eyes like Micah had when he was a kid and see these things and see how fully Batman this movie really is.
Last question for both of y'all. Did you learn anything about the movie or see anything that you never noticed before in this scene? Because I told Mike, I think I even told Javi, I told Mike at the physical therapy the other day, I've seen things in this movie that I'd never noticed before. The Lady Liberty statue only being damaged on one side, and Nigma's glasses being exactly the same as Edward Nashton in the Batman thing, and other things besides that. Anything here you've never know about this scene you've never noticed before?
I don't think there's anything here that I saw that I haven't noticed before. But I do. I mean, like with Javi, the more you really watch anything that you enjoy, you appreciate it more. The more time you put into something and really take a deep look at it, if you're fond of it, more than likely you'll grow to appreciate it even more. And I have, even watching Forever again, like there's meaning. There seems to be meaning behind everything in this movie, which is such a good movie to do a chapter by chapter, because you notice new things like the Statue of Liberty. Or I guess in the scene, in the gala scene, Two-Face drinking with two drinks. Like maybe originally you're just thinking, why is that guy drinking out of two cups? That's stupid. And it is kind of stupid, but it's just a part of the movie and the theme that it's going for, being a little ridiculous and unapologetically a comic book adaptation.
Joel Schumacher, that was his goal. He wanted a living comic book. The only thing I guess I noticed specifically that maybe I noticed before, this is 30 years old, but how Edward Nigma's date is Sugar, who is really a Two-Face. I want to call her a henchwoman, sidekick for Two-Face.
Yeah.
But his date is Spice. It's just,
yeah.
And also Harvey was dressed appropriately, because the Harvey side had on a very nice tuxedo while the Two-Face side was two-faced up. So, yeah. I didn't know if I noticed that he actually had half the suit was a tuxedo.
Yeah.
Before
I think it would have been nice to get a little bit more Harvey in this movie. It just seemed to be exclusively obnoxious Two-Face. But
yes, yeah, you get that. There's that one scene of him. Can I have his brief origin? They show how he became Two-Face, and then he'll mention at the very end, you've always been a good friend, Bruce. There's some stuff that was cut. There was like flashback rooftop scenes with Batman and Harvey Dent as DA that didn't make it into the film. So, all right, that's going to do it for Batman Forever Chapter 11. Thanks you both for coming on talking about it, and come on back. We got a few, probably 4, 5, 6 chapters left, I would say. So for Javi and Micah, I am Bill. Council Rachel will finish here. We'll catch you next time.
You have been listening to Batman on Film Chapter by Chapter, a BatmanOnFilm.com podcast revisiting the cinematic adventures of the Dark Knight, scene by scene, chapter by chapter. Follow Jett on Twitter at Batman on Film. For BOF news only, follow at the Batman on Film on Twitter. To become a BOF patron, go to patreon.com/Batman on Film. To advertise on BOF, visit advertisecast.com/Batman on Film. For Jett and Team BOF, I'm announcer Rachel. Authoritative, definitive, the original. Batman on Film. Established in 1998.
Batman flying night sky. Jett had a dream, now we're flying high. Since 98, it's been online. All the Bat fans gather and shine. Dark Knights and Gotham tales, rockets with stories and never fail. We love the Bat, right from the start. Batman on film, straight to our heart. Jett's on the mission, spreading the word. Every bat flick, every unheard. Classic tales and brand new Batman movies bring shades of blue. From the Joker's laugh to the hero's call, Batman time, standing tall. We love the Bat, right from the start. Batman on film, straight to our heart. News and reviews, a community here, that family full of cheer. Since 98, we feel the thrill, keeping the Bat vibes alive still. We love the Bat, right from the start. Batman on film, straight to our heart.